Namaste and welcome back to Omkar Healing. I am Dr. Gunjita.
Today is one of those days I genuinely look forward to every single year. June 21st, the summer solstice, the longest day of the year, and the day the entire world pauses, breathes together, and remembers something ancient, something that we have always known, but we so easily forget. Yoga. I am Dr. Gunjita, a classical homeopathic practitioner, holistic healer, yoga trainer, mudra therapist, graphologist, Reiki practitioner, and emotional freedom technique, which is EFT practitioner. And today, on this 12th International Yoga Day, I don't just want to talk about yoga as exercise, but I want to talk about yoga as healing, as wholeness, as the most ancient roadmap to healing we have ever been given. Let's go on to our first section, yoga, the union of mind, body, and soul. The word yoga comes from the Sanskrit root yuj, and it means to unite, to yoke, and to bring together. Not just the body with the yoga mat, but something far more deeper. Yoga is the conscious union of three dimensions of our existence that we so often treat as separate: the mind, the body, and the soul. Paramahansa Yoganand, in his profound work, Autobiography of a Yogi, described yoga as the science of reuniting the individual soul with the infinite spirit. He wrote of how every human being carries within them a divine spark, and that yoga is not a practice we do to become something, but it is a practice we do to remember what we already are. That understanding has always stayed with me. Interestingly, modern quantum science is arriving at a remarkably similar place. Physicist and consciousness researcher Amit Goswami, in his work The Quantum Doctor, proposes that consciousness is not produced by the brain. It is the very ground from which all existence, including the mind and the body, arises. The body does not create awareness. Awareness creates and moves through the body. Ancient yogis knew this. Quantum physicists are now proving it. And yoga, in every asana, every breath, every moment of stillness, is the lived experience of that truth. Now, in yogic philosophy, this understanding of the whole person is described with great precision through the Panchakosh model, the five sheets or layers of our being, first described in Taittiriya Upanishad. The outermost layer is the Annamaya Kosh, the physical body, the body made of food, of matter, of flesh and bone. This is the layer most of us are aware of because it is the one that hurts. Beneath it is the Pranmaya Kosh, the vital energy body, the layer of breath, of life force, of prana. This is where fatigue lives before it ever becomes physical illness. Deeper still is the Manomaya Kosh, the mental body, the layer of thought, emotion, memory, and perception. This is where most of our suffering is generated, not in the body, but in the stories that the mind tells about the body. Then comes the Vijnanmaya Kosh, the wisdom body, the layer of discernment, intuition, and higher understanding. And finally, at the very center, the Anandamaya Kosh, the bliss body, the innermost sheath closest to the soul itself, pure joy, pure stillness, and pure being. Yoga works on all the five layers simultaneously. An asana is not just stretching muscle, it is communicating with the pranayam, quieting the manomaya, and creating space for the anandmaya to be felt, perhaps for the first time in years. This is what makes yoga medicine. Not the flexibility, but the depth of access. Think about it for a moment. How many times have you felt one thing in your body, maybe tension, pain, or fatigue, while your mind is running in a completely different direction and your inner self feels utterly disconnected from both? That disconnection is the disease, and yoga is the medicine. You are not a body that has a mind. You are a soul expressing itself through a mind and a body. And the moment these three stop speaking the same language, illness begins, imbalance begins, suffering begins. This is something I witness every single day in my clinical practice. Patients come to me with physical complaints, but underneath, almost always, is a story of emotional suppression, mental exhaustion, or spiritual disconnection. Yoga is designed to restore that inner conversation. The asanas work on the physical layer, the annamaya kosh. The breath, pranayam, works on the vital and mental layers, the pranmaya and manomaya kosh. The stillness of meditation works on the wisdom and bliss layers, which are the Vijnanmaya and Anandmaya kosh. And running through all of this is something even more specific, the chakra system. In yogic anatomy, we have seven primary chakras, which are the energy centers that run along the spine, each governing a different aspect. When these centers are balanced and flowing, we experience health. When they are blocked or overactive, dis-ease follows. This is why when we talk about yogasanas today, I will not just tell you what the pose does to your muscles. I will also tell you which chakra it activates, because that is where the real healing happens. And this year's theme, Yoga for Healthy Aging, carries this understanding at its heart. Healthy aging is not just about flexible joints. It is about a mind that remains clear, a heart that stays open, and a spirit that continues to grow. That is the yoga we are celebrating today. Now, first, let's understand who am I and what is my mission of healing. For those of you who are new here, welcome to Omkar Healing. I am Dr. Gunjita Yade. I practice classical homeopathy at Omkar Homeopathy Clinic, where I offer both in-person and online consultations to patients across the world. But what I do goes beyond prescribing remedies. My qualifications include a trained brachologist, a certified yoga trainer, a mudra therapist, a Reiki healer, and an EFT, which the full form for which is Emotional Freedom Technique practitioner. Each of these modalities at their core is doing the same thing. They are all asking the body where it is holding pain, asking the mind where it has been suppressing truth, and asking the soul what it is truly asking for. The mission of Omkar Healing has always been simple, and I say it in 5 words. Healing begins from within, without. Real healing is not the suppression of symptoms. It is the restoration of the whole person. And yoga as a daily practice, as a living philosophy, is one of the most powerful tools I have witnessed in that journey of restoration. Now, because this year's theme honors healthy aging, I have chosen 5 yogasanas that are accessible to each and every age group, to children, to adults, and to seniors alike. No prior experience needed, just your breath, your attention, and your willingness to show up for yourself. And for each one, I'll tell you not just the physical benefit, but which chakra it awakens and what that means for your overall well being.
For our first asana, we'll do Tadasana, which is the mountain pose. For that, you need to first stand in Samasthiti, wherein your feet are touching each other, toes pointing forward, your hands on the sides, and your palms facing inwards. This is your Samasthiti. Now, as we inhale, we get on our toes so that our entire body weight is on our toes, and we stretch with our hands facing upward like this. Our palms will be facing outwards. I'll show you. So this is Samsthiti, our starting position. As we inhale, slowly we get on our toes and we extend our arms upwards, palms facing each other. Balance, and then you exhale, and then you come back to Samasthiti.
The chakra activated by Tadasana is the Muladhara chakra, which is the root chakra. The root chakra governs our sense of safety, stability, and belonging. In our modern lives, this is the chakra most frequently depleted by anxiety, financial stress, chronic overthinking, and the constant feeling that the ground beneath us is unstable. Tadasana literally roots you. It activates the Muladhara chakra, restores the felt sense of safety in the body, and tells your nervous system you are here, you are safe, and you are enough. For seniors especially, this pose is extraordinary for improving posture, balance, and to reduce the number of falls.
Our second asana for today is Malasana. For Malasana, we stand in Samasthiti and then we separate our legs at least hip width, the hip distance apart. It should not be more than hip distance apart. Toes pointing forward, and then you squat. You inhale, and while exhaling, you squat. So you squat, get your hands in Anjali Mudra, which is Namaste, and gently with your elbows press your knees outside, and then you hold. Closing your eyes is optional. You hold this for 5 breaths and then gently open your eyes, release the pressure, and you stand up. This is your Malasana.
The chakra activated in Malasana is the second chakra, which is the sacral chakra. The sacral chakra governs creativity, fluidity, emotional expression, and our relationship with change. It is deeply connected to the pelvis and hips, which is precisely where Malasana works most powerfully. As we age, the hips accumulate tension in a very particular way. They become the storehouse of unprocessed emotion, unexpressed creativity, and resistance to change. There is a reason people sometimes feel an unexpected wave of emotion in deep hip opening poses. The body has been holding something the mind never fully processed. Malasana gently unlocks that. It opens the pelvic floor, stimulates the digestive and reproductive organs, and reawakens the Svadhisthana energy, which is the energy of flow, of adaptability, of creative life force. For healthy aging, this matters enormously. The ability to adapt, to remain emotionally fluid, to stay creatively alive. That is the gift of sacral chakra, and Malasana is its doorway.
Today's third asana is Virabhadrasana 1 or Warrior Pose 1. For Warrior Pose, our initial position needs to be at least 3 to 4 feet distance apart, which is more than your hip distance. For beginners, you can reduce this distance, but who are practicing yoga daily can increase the distance between their legs. Toes pointing forward. Now you push your right foot towards, you make a right angle with your right foot, like this. Gently make an angle of 45 with your left foot. You turn your body from your waist on the right side. And while inhaling, you raise your hands up and get on, you put the pressure on your right foot like this. You balance, and if you are a regular practitioner, make sure that your right thigh is parallel to the ground. And now you hold this whole posture for 5 breaths. And then you, while inhaling again, you get to your original position. After doing it on the right side, now you do the same thing on your left side.
The chakra which is stimulated by this asana is Manipura chakra or the solar plexus chakra. The solar plexus chakra is the seat of the personal power, willpower, self-confidence, and the courage to act. When balanced, you feel decisive, motivated, and capable. But when blocked, self-doubt, passivity, and deep fatigue takes over. Warrior pose is the power made physical. It builds strength in the legs and core, opens the chest, and directly fires the Manipur energy. The very posture, arms stretching upwards, standing strong and unafraid, is a declaration to your own inner self. I am capable. I will not shrink. As we age, this inner fire must be consciously tended. This asana helps preserve it.
Our fourth asana for today is Vrikshasana or tree pose. For Vrikshasana, you stand in Samasthiti, gently and slowly put your entire body weight on your left foot. Remember that if you are a beginner, try doing this first. Or you can also take the support of a wall. Once you're able to do this, slowly touch your right foot to your core area. If this is difficult for you and if you are a beginner, you can also rest it in the inner thigh. But remember not to put your foot on the knee. This is a wrong posture. Either you can do it, you can press your foot on the inner thigh, or the best or the ideal one is this. Now inhale and get your hands in Anjali Mudra. Balance, breathe for 5 breaths. Get your focus on one certain point and focus. While exhaling, get back to Samasthiti. Now you do the same thing on your right side as well.
The chakra activated in Vrikshasana is the Agya chakra, the third eye chakra. The third eye chakra governs intuition, clarity, inner vision, and wisdom. To hold tree pose, you must focus. You must quiet the mental chatter. You must find your drishti, your inner point of stillness. That act of focused, unwavering attention is a direct activation of the Agya chakra. It trains the mind to be present, and presence is the very thing we lose most as we age, constantly drifting into memory or anxiety, rarely inhabiting now. Tree pose teaches balance not just of the body but of the mind. For children, it builds concentration. For adults, it interrupts overthinking. And for seniors, it sharpens cognitive presence and physical equilibrium at the same time.
Our fifth asana for today is Shavasana or the corpse pose. For getting in the corpse pose or Shavasana, you need to lie flatly on your back. Your legs should be at least hip distance apart and your palms facing upwards. Gently close your eyes. You can feel each and every inhale and exhale that you do. People say that this is not an asana. You don't do anything in this asana. But that's wrong. It's one of the most important asanas. Remember that you are not supposed to sleep in this asana. You're just supposed to be closing your eyes and experience the inhale and your exhale.
The chakra activated in Shavasana is your Sahasrara chakra, which is the crown chakra. The crown chakra is the seat of pure consciousness, spiritual connection, and the experience of unity with something larger than the self. It is the chakra of surrender, the very opposite of the ego's need to control. When you lie here in complete stillness and conscious awareness, you are not just relaxing your muscles, but you are touching the Anandamay Kosh, the bliss body, the innermost layer we spoke about earlier. You are dissolving the boundary between the individual self and the infinite. You are giving the soul permission, finally, to speak. This is where the integration happens, where the body absorbs, the mind settles, and all the five koshas come to rest in their natural harmony. Never skip Shavasana. It is where the healing actually lands.
After getting up from Shavasana, if you can do Padmasana, get in Padmasana, or you can also meditate in Sukhasana, no issues. Form a Gyan Mudra, which is touching your index finger with the thumb. Close your eyes and experience the stillness. While doing this, if you want, you can also put on some calming music or relaxing music, or you can also chant Om. If nothing suits you, you can just enjoy the stillness, the calmness.
Now, coming towards the end, I want to add something very special. Yoga is not something you do once a year on June 21st. It is a way of being, daily, quietly, with intention. And as a healer, what I wish for every person watching today is not perfection in any pose. It is simply this, that you begin to listen to your body when it speaks in the language of symptoms, to your mind when it speaks in the language of thought patterns, and to your soul when it speaks in the language of longing. Because when all five layers are nourished, when the Annamay, Pranamay, Manomay, Vigyanmay, and Anandmay Kosh are finally in conversation with each other, that is when healing begins. That is what yoga does. That is what classical homeopathy does. That is what every modality under the Omkar Healing umbrella is trying to do in its own way. Remember, healing begins from within, without. Happy International Yoga Day, everyone. Roll out your mat today, even for just 10 minutes, not to perform, simply to arrive. Namaste.